catch, shoot the three of the big guy on him, and it's good. She'll catch, shoot a three off the wing, and it's good.
Touchdown, Yellow Jackets!
Welcome to another episode of the Yellow Jacket Report. I'm your host, Abby Siekmann. In today's episode, we will be joined by head football coach John Reiners, head volleyball coach Kristen Carmichael, golf coach Jamie Bentley, along with the rodeo coach Glenn Lammers. Joining me first is head volleyball coach Kristen Carmichael. Welcome to the show again, Coach.
Thank you.
So let's talk about some of the academic achievements that have come up in the last week with the RMAC, with Lacey Stevens and Farron Ward both achieving the RMAC First Team All-Academic, along with Farron getting Defensive Player of the Week. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
On the academic side, I think it's very important to our girls. They take it very seriously. We do study tables on the road. They all work really well together, kind of helping each other with homework, but it's just important to them. We had 5 or 6 also named to the honor roll, so if you add in the 2 that got academic first team, we're talking half the team, and I think that's awesome that they're working to that extent and getting those honors. Farron had a big week, also getting named to the Defensive Player of the Week. She's been a blocking machine. We've been doing well on blocks, but out of the middle, she's responsible for blocking on both pins as well as in the middle, so she just has a lot of opportunities, and she's been taking advantage of those.
And you played as a blocker during your college career, and now the team leads the conference in blocking, as well as they rank within the top 5 of the nation for blocking. Can you tell us, does that make it easier as a coach to coach that area, or is it more difficult?
Definitely something I'm comfortable with technically and kind of exactly how to do it physically, so I think that I can share kind of my knowledge experience with the girls, and they're very receptive to that. But really, it's just kind of a mental choice. It's a mind switch. They have to want to block. Blocking's not all that fun because you get one that scores for 10, 12, 15 tries, you know? So they have to stay dedicated to it, stay disciplined with it, and they do a great job.
And let's go ahead and talk about Bryn for a minute. She is tied in the nation for first with triple doubles. Can you just tell us a little bit about what a triple double is and how she's been able to achieve this?
A triple double means that you are statistically getting double digits in 3 different categories. So she has been getting them consistently in assists because she's a setter, kills because we recently made the switch to a 6-2, so she also gets to hit, and then in digs. So, you know, she's looking at 10, 12, 15 in all of those areas per match, and it's been kind of match after match after match. She's been very consistent with it. It's really been helping us offensively because she's distributing balls on offense but also scoring on offense. She's just kind of taken it upon herself to get points for the team, and she's doing it on a varying levels. But she's actually been really close to like a quadruple double a couple times because she's been getting so many blocks, and that would just be outrageous. I think I was reading that nationwide, all levels, Division I through Division III, there's only been like 10 of those ever, and she's right on the cusp, so that would be really cool if she achieved one of those. But she's just a great team player. She understands that her success leads to team success.
And as the season starts approaching the end of the regular season, what are some things that you would like to see happen from here on out?
We made that switch to the 6-2, and so now it's on film. All the conference knows that we've made the change. You know, I think prior to that they were like, are they going to do it? Are they not going to do it? And so we had a little bit of element of surprise. I think that's gone. So now we've just been trying to do a little bit more, changing our offensive routes, changing when we're in the 6-2 and when we're not, so being a little bit more unpredictable. And just really working on being consistent on offense so we can get points. If we can continue to keep our blocking where it's been and control balls on defense, we just need to put it away on offense.
And let's go back a few weeks as you guys traveled to CSU Pueblo. You guys get to experience a little bit more than just a volleyball match.
Absolutely.
You guys did go and visit an elementary school, so can you just tell us what that experience was like for the team and how that kind of came about?
It was kind of random. Jet Albers was kind of integrally involved. He contacted me and said that a 3rd grade teacher at this elementary school had contacted him and said that they were kind of creating this relationship with a college, and they had chosen Black Hills State. The teacher is originally from Harding County. It's north of here, so she knows the area, and that was kind of the connection. But we kind of just through several emails, coordinated it, and our team loved it. They loved getting to visit those kids. Very low socioeconomic place. You could tell that the kids were so excited to learn that anybody could go to college, and that was kind of the theme. They have like this no excuses university thing, and so they were just kind of putting it together, and we were showing them that anybody can go to school and you could even do athletics, and we danced and we played, and there was crying when we left. I mean, it was great. The kids loved it.
That's awesome to see that they're actually stepping out into the community
Absolutely.
in different areas.
Yes. Yeah,
I
not
mean,
just
that's
in Spearfish, right.
And is that something that you guys would like to try and continue maybe?
I would love
or?
to. We would love to do it here at home too, just kind of go into the schools. But yeah, it was really neat to see something outside of South Dakota. So I think it was great.
And I know I talked to Chloe about that, and
yes.
she was just so emotional about it. She loved it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again, Coach, for joining us.
Thank you.
Stick around. We will have more of the Yellow Jacket Report right after this.
There's a lot of things that go into building a successful car dealership. It starts with a great product. Ford, the best-selling automotive brand in America. A sales staff that understands the product inside and out. And a service department with highly trained technicians. All these parts working together make up White's Canyon Ford in Spearfish. Winner of both the President's Award and one Ford Elite Award from the Ford Motor Company for 3 consecutive years. Ranking us as one of the top 60 Ford stores in America for sales and service satisfaction.
Today's car shoppers are smarter than ever. That's why Junix and Spearfish developed hometown pricing. We price our vehicles against the competition so you save time and money. Our vehicles are repriced weekly, so check back to get the best deal at Junix on West Jackson in Spearfish.
Welcome back to the Yellow Jacket Report. Checking in now with Rodeo is head coach Glenn Lammers. How are you, Coach?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm really liking that hat there. I mean, it's top notch.
Well, there won't be any question what sport we're interviewing, right?
So let's go ahead and just talk about, the team and things like that. Last season, you guys had a really, really good season, one which ended up with a national champion.
Correct.
Can you tell us a little bit about what it was like to have a season like that?
Well, it was awesome. I mean, to kind of rewind a little ways, during the regular season, we were able to finish up with both the men's and women's team champions for the Great Plains region, which, we were just blessed with a lot of talent and good horsepower, and everything came together, and some luck along with that. But, I think that's, to my knowledge, the first time, Black Hills State in history has had a men's and women's teams, both champions in the same year. So that was pretty cool. We went on from there to nationals. We had some great success out there. The Tate Tybo was third at nationals in the saddle bronc riding. Had been a big point getter for us all year long, being all around for the Great Plains region, and what a great way for him to cap off his senior year. We went on also with Matt Peters, who was the third at nationals in the tie-down roping, and I think those almost got a little overshadowed by Christy Steffes, another senior that was a national champion in the barrel racing. So I mean, what a great year, and I just couldn't have been happier for how everything finished up, and especially for 3 seniors like that, to end their college career in that way. It was great.
And with this season then, obviously you have a lot of those returners still, aside from those 3 seniors that you lost. What are the goals for them this season, not only now after the fall, but also heading into the spring?
Well, we start off every year. We want, our short-term goal, or I don't know if I'd call it short-term, but basically for the regular season is to be one of the top 2 teams in the region, men's and women's, and that hasn't changed. We've got a good start this fall already. With half of our rodeos will basically be a split at semester break. We'll have half the rodeos in the fall, half in the spring, and we had a good start with our fall. you know, our women's team has got some really good depth. They were actually the other piece I didn't mention with our national, you know, success that we had last year was our women's team was 3rd in the nation. So, you know, with Christy Steffes being really the only senior that moved off the team, and you know, which was obviously she was a top contender for us too. But there's some other you know, girls that have stepped up, and that team's got a lot of depth on our women's side. Our men's side, with the 2 seniors that moved off this year, we're a little bit rebuilding, but you know, our first outing was in River Falls, Wisconsin, and we were 2nd as a men's team. So you know, I was happy with that, and so they've got a really good shot. We're gonna you know, with those seniors moving off, it gives an opportunity for some of the, you know, some of our underclassmen to you know, kind of show what they got and kind of be in the spotlight a little more too. So you know, looking forward to you know, finishing up our fall season here shortly, and doing some off-season stuff that can prepare us for the spring.
And from venue to venue, the facilities vary. Is there anything that changes in your guys' practices to prep for those different facilities and events? You
know, there sure is. I mean, you know, overall, I mean, you still got your basics that you got to work on. We'd still do the same drills and that type of thing, but you know, when you have an arena, for example, that's an outdoor arena and it's you know, big and wide open, you've kind of got to prepare by practicing outside for that particular venue. And then we have one upcoming that's going to be you know, that's a real small indoor, and you know, things happen a lot quicker. There's it's a lot more forgiving, I guess, or less forgiving, I should say, and things kind of got to happen just right. So you want to practice for that and know that you kind of have to have a little bit more kind of a mentality that you're going to go for it in those circumstances or in those setups. So we practice for you know, each event, you know, or excuse me, each facility we're going to prior to that, you know, in some ways.
And with the off season coming up, then what are you guys going to be doing to prepare for that spring season? Well,
the off season's a great time to get better, you know. And what I look at when we start the fall season, you know, it's really about sharpening up what we have, you know, not making any major changes, because there's a learning curve that comes along with that. And so my belief is the off season's a great time to, you know, kind of, if there is some, you know, substantial changes that we need to make, that's a great time to do that and work on them and actually have enough time to get that confidence before we go into the spring season. You know, when I'm looking at our first year students, freshmen and transfers alike, you know, it takes a little while, and I'm sure it's the same in any sport, is it takes a little while to kind of get to know how to coach that student athlete too. So the off season, we're just want to get to know each other better and work on the things we need to work on, I guess, to prepare for the spring.
And when will the season resume then in the spring?
The spring season will start again. I believe it's either the first or second weekend in April. SDSU will host the Jackrabbit Stampede, the first event in the spring. And then we'll be looking at being in the schedule with the Yellow Jacket Stampede approximately April, I don't know exact dates, 23rd, 24th, somewhere in there anyways. And if I might just throw a little commercial in there too, we also have our Cowboys and Candlelight event that happens March 24th. And that's really important to our team, you know, the support that we've been able to attain the last few years at that event. And we have a fundraiser auction, and we like to recognize the sponsors and all the folks that have helped us, because that's what makes it possible, is all that support.
Well, it sounds like you guys are going to have a pretty busy off season. I know I'm looking forward to getting out to a rodeo since I'm still new to the area. But it's been a joy talking to you, Glenn.
Appreciate it.
Stick around. We will have more of the Yellow Jacket Report right after this.
Truck buyers know there's only one place for your next four-wheel drive truck, Junix and Spearfish. Find a great selection of Ram 1500, 2500, or 3500s with hometown pricing. For your next Ram truck, look to Junix on West Jackson and Spearfish.
Welcome back to the Yellow Jacket Report. Joining me now is head football coach John Reiners. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
You bet, Abby.
So let's go ahead and talk about the start of the season. You guys have been off to a really good start. Can you just talk about some of the bright spots on the season and why you guys are exceeding the way that you are?
You know, I think some of the biggest things was our early success. You know, getting those 2 victories on the road was very key after coming off an 0-11 season, and just getting that early success of going down to Adams, going down to Fort Lewis, winning those games, and then coming back against Dixie, team or opponent we was new to the conference, we didn't really know a lot about. Came in here, got that first home victory, and really as we started the season, just started to do a lot of firsts. You know, first time we won the first opening game since 2008. Then all of a sudden, first time we went 3-0 in a number of years, and there was just all these things that our guys were knocking off the list that, you know, and the biggest thing was wins. And I just think it was our leadership. Also, you know, we got a lot of veteran players that are back, and so we just had that. The role of our guys of understanding what they needed to do, and where we are at this time of the year is so much further ahead than we were last year. And then obviously we stubbed our toe against a rival game. You know, you lose to Tech, and so you kind of wondering, okay, where are we at now? And we come back with 2 victories, with one of them being over a 13th ranked Mesa. So I think a lot of that was just attributed to how our guys' attitude came into the season. And once we won those first couple games, we had a ton of confidence, which just carried over.
And you mentioned, you know, Colorado Mesa ranked number 13, and that was the first victory for you guys over a ranked team. And at the end of the game, you said that was a significant win. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Oh, I think, you know, in my tenure here as a head coach, you know, we've won some football games, you know, not as many as we want, but they're really over opponents that were struggling, or people kind of felt like, okay, that's a victory we should get. We've never had that victory over maybe a team that had a winning record or a team that was ranked for sure. And so the significance of that, I mean, to me, I said that's a marquee victory for us, just to show our guys that you can't. It's not just that we can beat an opponent that's 0-5 or an opponent that's won one game, and we can beat somebody that at that point in time was undefeated. And I think that was what made it significant and a huge victory for our team.
And the starting quarterback, Ryan Hummel, he obviously went through some growing pains as a true freshman last year. What has led to his growth this year as a sophomore?
I think number one is his confidence in himself, but also his confidence in the guys he has around him. You know, our offensive line has been tremendous this year. You know, up until last week, you know, which was not one of our better outings as far as just, you know, being able to run the ball and stuff. We were number 1 in the league in sacks. We're still number 3, and we're one of the top teams in the nation, so we've been able to protect him up front. When you got a running game with Fidel and all the rest of the running back core that we have, you know, that kind of gives a quarterback a little bit of a safety blanket when you can run the ball. And so I think really the guys around him have made him better. And, you know, just his understanding of the game and some different things that it slowed down for him. And you know, there's always things that after games, he wants to continue to improve on. He knows he has to if we want to continue to win games, especially these next 4, you know, against some very good opponents. But, you know, I think really just his confidence in himself, but more so his confidence in his players that he has around him.
And on the defensive side of things, there's been a lot of players that have been able to step up and make plays to get them made so that you guys can continue that win. Can you just tell us a little bit about, you know, the collective group and what, you know, has attributed to the success that they've had on the defensive side, you know, with Drew Hebel and his interceptions and just the strength of that side of the field?
Yeah, the strength of our defense is probably just the strength of them as a whole and everything they've done. But, you know, there's definitely some guys that have attributed to that. You know, I think you start up front with Cody Benny. You know, Cody Benny has been, to me, an all-conference caliber nose tackle the last 3 years. You know, this year, obviously, he's playing like it. The guy got an interception last week. You know, I mean, not many nose tackles get that. But what he's been able to do to really stop the run, to help get some pressure on our quarterbacks, to get us to be the leading team in the nation with 17 interceptions. You know, a guy like Drew Hebel already has 6. You know, and then there's just other guys right down the list. You know, Travis Groves. You know, Alan Stubbs. You know, there's too many to name that have had interceptions this year. But you start with Cody. you know, and you look at Thayer Sauter and you look at Jared Tiefenthaler and the guys up front that are really putting pressure on quarterback and disrupting, stopping the run. And then you go into our linebacking core, you know, and you got Isaiah Burkle, you got Damon Goldhammer, you got Matt Singleton, you know, and Travis Groves. You know, what they've been able to do as a defense, and then you look in our secondary, we talked about it, J.J. Kilgore in there as well. You know, just the collective group, what Coach Kerr and the coaches have done to get this group just playing what we call fast, physical, and alert. You know, obviously they've done it. We've been playing, to me, on defense, we've been playing very fast, and we've been able to make plays. We've been playing very physical, and we've been a better tackling team than we've been in the last couple of years. And then alert, you know. You got to be alert to the different things that offenses are doing, and they have been. They're seeing where they're at. They're spilling the ball to where it needs to be. And then, you know, being in a position to make plays, whether it's an interception, whether it's a batted pass, a fumble recovery. So those are the things I really think that have attributed to our defense's success. And honestly, once again, they're playing with confidence. They really feel like they can be the difference in a ball game. You know, if special teams is struggling, don't worry, we'll get the ball back. If offense is struggling, don't worry, we'll get the ball back. And, you know, they've done that, and they've really held true for the vast majority of every game of being there, of somebody that we can rely on. And, you know, they always say defense wins championships, and, you know, our defense is playing at a championship caliber level, and so that's exciting for myself and the whole team.
And so the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference is actually seeing something for the first time that they haven't seen in a while, and that's 7 teams competing for the #1 spot. What is it going to take for the Yellow Jackets or any team in the RMAC to achieve that #1 spot?
You know, and that's been the awesome thing about the RMAC this year is the parity, you know, and I mean, I'm sure everybody's looking going, where did Black Hill State come from? You know, why are they even close to leading the pack? And there's some other teams that are at the Western State. You know, last year when we played Western State, collectively between both of us, there was 1 win. You know, now we're sitting at the top of the conference along with Mesa, and you got, I think, 4 other teams that have 2 losses. And so, you know, it's going to be there's some very pivotal games here in the next 3 weeks for every team to be able to finish out the season. For us, it's just about looking at our next opponent, you know, whoever it is, knowing that, hey, we're still in the hunt no matter what it is. We got to look at the opponents that we got in the RMAC. We have a non-conference game coming up here, which, you know, doesn't count for conference standings, but obviously gives us confidence if we can have success in that game. And so, you know, for us, it's the cliche, 1 game at a time. And we have some very tough conference games left here at the end of the season. But, you know, just being able to finish out this season the way we want to, you know, we had a great start, but, you know, we don't want to end it, you know, on a losing note or losing our last couple games. So we got to look forward to not only finishing well in the conference, but hopefully still being in that hunt for a conference championship.
Well, thanks again, Coach, for joining us. Stick around. We will have more Yellow Jacket Report with head golf coach Jamie Bentley.
Here at Quick Signs, we can make canvas prints to vehicle wraps to anything in between. We have an experienced design team that can start a project from scratch, or we can enhance an existing one. A wrap can be used to advertise your business with minimal maintenance. You can either wrap your trailer, you can wrap your vehicle, or anything that you want to help get your message across. At Quick Signs, we have a high quality standard for our products. We expect that our customers have the same standards when it comes to their marketing materials that they want to provide to their customers.
Commitment puts you above everything else. It looks you straight in the eye. Commitment pledges to see you through to the end, to support you, to be that reassuring face in the crowd, the one who's always there. First Interstate Bank. That's what commitment looks like.
Welcome back to the Yellow Jacket Report. We are now talking golf with head coach Jamie Bentley. How's it going, Coach?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's nice to have you on the show. So the fall season has just ended. Kylie Ferris has kind of led the way for the team. What has changed in her game from last season as a freshman to this year?
A couple of things have changed. One, she's a lot more consistent, and I think that's attributed to she kind of understands the process now of what's going on the other thing is she's hitting the ball a little further, which is awesome. She's not a real long hitter as it is, but any length can help, especially when you're playing courses that are a little longer than maybe high school. So she's getting that advantage to where she maybe didn't have that last year and is put in her position to score a little better this year.
And you have some senior leadership as well coming from Ashlyn Pearson and junior Madison Hand. Can you kind of just talk about Ashlyn and Madison and how they've contributed to the team?
Absolutely, they're definitely the team leaders. You know, Ashlyn being a senior, she's played in every meet throughout her career, so she's got that, which is kind of a rarity in golf, but she's got that going for her. She understands what we're trying to do and everything, and is a great example to the other girls of how we want to get things done. And same with Madison, you know, she's been a huge part of this team since she came on as a freshman, and they're both invested and want this team to do well, so they're great at, you know, trying to get the younger kids into the process that we want.
And you had two newcomers for the 16-17 season in Haley Frank and Taylor Miles. Can you kind of just tell us how they fit in with the team and what we can expect from them over the next couple years?
Yeah, absolutely. Haley is a freshman this year, and she did great, especially her last couple tournaments kind of coming on and maybe getting a little more comfortable with her role and things on the team, so that's fun to see. And Taylor is her first year playing. She's actually a sophomore in school, but she has a bright future. She has a ton of potential and can hit the ball a mile, so she's fun to watch. So those two will be fun to watch in the coming years.
And golf is unlike a lot of college sports across college campuses, as it spans over an entire year, but with the winter coming up and before firing up for spring season, what do you guys plan to do in regards to training and keeping them kind of staying with their consistent flow?
Yeah, it is kind of difficult just because you take so much time off in between and you go through a change of season in winter and kind of go through all that. But we plan on doing some workouts with a strength coach here, and then as the spring semester comes along, we do some hitting inside before we can get outside, and just to kind of keep, at least, you know, knock some rust off maybe that has accumulated over the winter.
And let's go ahead and just talk about the spring season. What will the spring season have in store for the Yellow Jackets, and how many meets do you plan on attending, and what will the competition in the RMAC conference be like?
We plan on attending 3 to 4 meets, and you know, I think that especially our last couple of tournaments, we put some good rounds together. We just haven't been consistent in putting 2 days together. So in the spring, that's what our goal is. That's what we're looking forward to do. And the RMAC in golf it's a great golf conference. We've got some amazing teams, so it's fun to watch them do well, and we wish nothing but the best for them, but we hope to kind of climb the ladder within that too in the spring as well.
And is there like a championship tournament that you plan to try and get to?
The RMAC championship is in Phoenix, and it's in the end of April every year. I don't know the exact dates, and then from there there's regionals and nationals, but we're just kind of focused on conference and trying to move up the ladder with that.
And do any of the girls have a goal in mind that they're trying to attain then in the spring season?
We've talked about team goals and specific goals, and definitely our goals are more related to improving, so we don't want to set a number and then try to press for that number. We want to try what is going to help us achieve that number, so that's what we try to do in practice and stuff.
Well, it sounds like you guys are going to be pretty busy during the off season to try and prepare for that spring. Well, thanks for joining us, Coach. So that will do it for us here on the Yellow Jacket Report. Remember, you can check out this video or any other videos on our YouTube page, and you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. And if you'd like to access anything Yellow Jackets 24/7, you can go to bhsuathletics.com. Thank you for watching.